this is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, we're back. Hold on one second. One second here. All right, folks, before we get into anything else, number one, the war in Iran is winding down. All right, it's going to wind down. Should be over in about a week. We have done everything, almost everything we need to do. Get rid of the Ayatollah, right? And we did it on night one. When you do those things on night one, it gives you all kinds of, well, what they say in government, optionality, right? It gives you options. Most people would say it gives you options. People who want to sound smart say it gives you optionality. Speaking of people who want to seem smart, Gavin Newsom. Oh my gosh, this book is such an embarrassment. This book should, it won't, but it should render him completely ineligible to be president of the United States. Pseudo-intellectual. He writes like the bad student that he was, who's very, very committed to turning in as much work as the teacher asked for, right? What's the first question you used to ask when you had a writing assignment, right? You got to write a book report about George Washington. This book on George Washington. What is the first thing that entered your mind when you found that out? All right, look, seriously, I'm the teacher. Hello, everybody. We all read the book on George Washington, right? Oops. Challenge number one. Oops. No one's going to admit to not reading the book. Do they have Cliff Notes on this thing? And I would like a book report on Monday morning. Now, what question would you ask? What question immediately comes to mind? Anybody have any questions? I'll put my hand up. How long does it have to be? Yes, it has to be 5 pages, which is possibly the worst advice. It has to be 2,000 words. That right there is the original sin of writing. Okay, because what does it do? It makes everybody use more words when fewer would do. Right? You can be efficient in the same. Instead, this guy just used way too many words, and he does it right here. Listen to this. This is Gavin Newsom writing his silly book. This is he starts right away in the prologue. While my father's physical presence remained episodic throughout my childhood, he became an intellectual and spiritual force for me as I got older. Huh? While my father's physical presence remained episodic throughout my childhood. Could you imagine anybody saying that to you? He became an intellectual and spiritual force for me when I got older. The first part of that statement is just ludicrous. Episodic. You mean you didn't see your dad so much, right? Why can't you say it that way? He spent so much time talking about his dad, what a great guy he was, but the dad walked out on the family when he was 4 years old. He's got some daddy issues. Never saw him. He's also got some mommy issues. Never loved him. Never could say I love you. Hey, I could feel compassion for him as a human being. Oh, also, he wet the bed. He was a big-time bedwetter. Now, I mean, to this day, I have an occasional accident. Everybody does. You ever have that happen to you, Carlos, as an adult? Wetting the bed? Give me a break. Really? Didn't you ever dream that you were urinating and then all of a sudden you find out you're urinating in your bed? Only me? Well, I don't think it's only me, Carlos. I know it's not only me. Let me see here. Now, how about this one? In my more solitary moments as governor, it hits me that I have no one I can call to fill his absence. No one who might listen to my fears and anger and respond with understanding, savvy, and an erudition that brings with it history and philosophy and literature. I struggle at times to make sense of the challenge of governance before me, in part because it is a challenge that has few precedents in history, and in part because the means to meet it are not always within my grasp. What a beautiful young man. You are such a good writer. How old are you? 13? Trying to write an essay to impress somebody? Now look, you could just say, I miss my dad. I miss my dad a lot. We used to talk. What kind of statement is this about his friends? I mean, it's not like his father was governor. It's not like his father had unique insight into being governor. And he's not even saying, well, he has unique insight into me, Gavin. No. Listen to this. In my more solitary moments as governor, it hits me that I have no one I can call on to fill his absence. No one who might listen to my fears and anger and respond with understanding, savvy, and an erudition that brings with it history and philosophy and literature. You want to go make friends with a professor, for crying out loud. This guy is the governor of California, and he's lonely. He's lonely. They might notice that in my speeches and press conference, I sometimes weigh down my sentences with words like iterative and demonstrable and contextualize and foundational. When I was in my early 20s, I found a dictionary that was typographically friendly and studied it front to back. Typographically friendly. It was a typographically friendly book. I enjoy this newspaper so much. It's typographically friendly. Typographically friendly. All right. He wanted to command words that would show my facility with the English language. This was no doubt compensation for my peculiar wiring. Through hard work and persistence, I have overcome a lot of obstacles on the path to being a more confident public speaker. But I have yet to find comfort reading a typewritten speech. I can't manage the spatial tracking of looking up and down. It feels like vertigo. Reading from a teleprompter is easier only because the lines appear with plenty of space. Oh, the woes of being Gavin, huh? It must be tough. How about this one? His father leaves. It was not long after that my father divined a fork in the road, a career teaching literature to college students or practicing law. Out of no special ardor, he picked the latter. So I got to go back and figure out what the latter was. Okay, practice law. How about out of no special ardor? Does that mean what does that mean? Ardor. I can kind of feel like enthusiasm, I think is what it means, but let's see here. Yeah, enthusiasm or passion. But even I got a pretty reasonable, I got to look it up. I got to pause and look it up. Ardor. Who talks like that? Where to hang his shingle? In pursuit of an answer, he scooped up his T.S. Eliot and William Blake and headed to Lake Tahoe, to the old Squaw Valley ski resort. Damn, this guy couldn't just have a think on the couch. I'm sorry. As Earl, he goes down this discovery lane. I'm telling you, this book, if handled appropriately by me and my allies in conservative media, will totally remove this man as a potential presidential person. I think he's finished. Now, one thing he's not talking about here, and it's in a weird way, it's smart. He's safer and he's better off talking about his aunts and uncles that he never met, wasting our time and his time talking about his distant relatives who died before he was born, than talking about the state of California, what's really happening there, right? Was he navel gazing and missing his father when he didn't fill up those reservoirs? Next time you have some downtime, some solitary time, just try to think, what would a responsible governor do at a time like this? And do something. I heard that recently. The cure for anxiety, almost all anxiety, is action. Take action. Do something. You see that ball? Let's go play catch with it. You see that forest? Let's make sure it doesn't burn up in a blaze. Oh, this part rings true. He writes, I was a difficult kid, and the worst of my acting out came at night when it was time for bed. Tired to the core, I could not shut down. I'd scream and yell to get my mother's attention, and she'd do her best to ignore me, often with the aid of a few glasses of cheap wine. What kind of slam is that? How do you know it was cheap wine? Why are you taking a shot at your mom like that? I'd run out of the bedroom and throw myself to the living room floor and start pounding my fists. She'd scoop me up and deposit me back in my room and hold the door shut so I couldn't get out. Relax, Gavin, she'd say. Fall asleep. I'd shout and cry for another 30 minutes until exhaustion, and then sleep set in. He tries to say his mom had all kinds... It's funny. To make ends meet, Mom had to take up second and third jobs. Is there something a little bit weird about this? What he writes next. At different points, she was working as an assistant buyer in the children's department at iMangan 4 days a week. A bookkeeper in the financial district once a week. A waitress at Ramona's Mexican restaurant in San Rafael on Friday and Saturday nights. A development director for a Piedmont nonprofit called Aid to Adoption of Special Kids, and a budding real estate agent in the hours that were spare. Mom had to lean on her twin sister, Aunt Ann, to help rear us. So he says at different points, right? I mean, had to take on second and third jobs. In a row or at the same time? And upon scrutiny, this is not as impressive as it sounds. At different points, she was working as an assistant buyer in the children's department at a department store 4 days a week, and a bookkeeper in the financial district once a week. Okay, so far I got her working 5 days a week, like every other schnook. 5 day a week. Okay, now what's special? Okay, here we go. A waitress at Ramona's Mexican restaurant in San Rafael on Friday and Saturday nights. Good for her. A development director for a Piedmont nonprofit called Aid to Adoption Kids. Now, the thing about being the Piedmont director, I don't think she was the assistant buyer at the children's department when she was a Piedmont nonprofit director. And budding real estate agent? Hey, who isn't a budding real estate agent? Who isn't about to take that test? Who isn't taking a course to take that test? He tries to make himself sound so special. And he's not. He's a jerk. Oh, how about this? Mom bought our first house on Baltimore Avenue in Corte Madera for $40,000 with a helping hand from Dad. Now, when was that? When was that? $40,000 in the 1970s in California? That's a pretty awesome house. Anyway, he wants it all. And now he's got to somehow explain away the Gettys. You know Getty, the Getty gas station? Yeah, Getty. There was a Getty gas station down the block from us on Grand Avenue in Baldwin. That's my experience with the Getty. I didn't even know it was a family. Oh, I have one other experience with Getty. We had, you ever go to Nassau Coliseum when they have puck night? They give out hockey pucks. They used to do that every now and then. And we somehow got the job, my brother and I, of sticking Getty stickers on every single puck. Every single puck we put a Getty sticker on. It had New York Islanders on one side, and we put Getty on the, sponsored by Getty. That's all I know from Getty. He knows Paul Getty. He knows Wallace Getty. He knows all these Gettys. His father is the godfather to Getty's son, Paul. Paul Getty is a family fixture. And the Pelosi's. Nancy Pelosi. He's related to Nancy Pelosi. But at the same time, he's trying to tell you he's, how real he is and regular he is. And his mom is working 3 jobs. I just dispelled that. She wasn't working 3 jobs at the same time. Gavin, it's different having 3 jobs in your lifetime and then 3 jobs at the same time. Jerk. Gavin Newsom. He has blown himself up with this book. Now, the only thing he's got going for him, people will buy the book, but they won't read it. And that's my little thing. I like to read the books. This is fun. Oh, and you know what else I'm going to find in this book? Mistakes. Big time mistakes. Haven't found one, one that's like cut and dry. He could be making this stuff up. I don't know about his uncle and his grandfather, great-grandfather. But every book I pick up these days, There's all kinds of mistakes. So it's entertaining, actually, for me personally. Give me a moment, please. Many thanks.
Greg Kelly
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm going to become a man like your father. That's what you told me.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people. Like a senator or a president.
You know how naive you sound.
Why?
Senators and presidents don't have men killed.
Oh. Who's being naive, Kay?
Ooh, how about that one? Anybody remember the scene? The Godfather? So Michael has just come back from Sicily, where he was hiding out after killing the police captain in Salazzo, right? He had to lay low for a while. He got married to Apollonia. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Monday, and then he comes back and he wants, okay, I got to get going here. I'm a serious man. I need a serious woman. And he goes up to Connecticut to find Kay at that school. Did you hear what he said? Right? What she was complaining about? You know, she's complaining that you're in the killing business and I'm not comfortable with that. He said something very interesting. And she said something very interesting. What did she say? Senators? Well, they said something about senators and governors. Can I hear that one more time, if you don't mind? This is Al Pacino with, what's her name? She just died. Not Katharine Hepburn. Maybe it is. Who's the other one? Damn it, what's her name? Go ahead, I'll figure it out while we're gone.
Become a man like your father. That's what you told me.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people. Like a senator or a president.
You know how naive you sound.
Why?
Senators and presidents don't have men killed.
Oh. Who's being naive, Kay?
And when you watch the movie, you're actually supposed to be on Michael's side there, right? Senators and presidents don't have men killed. This came out in the early 1970s, and there was this deep suspicion and knowing that's exactly what our government was doing. So this takes me to my friend Bill Stevenson, who is sitting in a Delaware prison right now, Delaware jail, charged with first-degree murder. And the whole damn thing doesn't add up. It doesn't add up one bit. There's something very, very wrong about the whole thing. And I thought about it a lot over the weekend. And I wrote a great, big, fat article, actually, that I shall be publishing somewhere. But I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek. All right? It's all about Delaware, the Joe Biden, and how I believe that he's in on this situation. Okay? I'm not saying he had anybody killed, but I am saying he's seen to it that Bill Stevenson has the book thrown at him when he's innocent.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey, when that gas thing goes off when you're driving around, your little gas thing, and it says, I got a nice car, and it says 30 miles left, right? 30 miles left. The light goes off and it says 30 miles left. And then it'll tell you, it counts all the way down. But mine got to 21 miles left. I'm like, well, I got 21 miles. I can drive here and there. And then it just disappeared, the 21 miles. It just went away. And now it just says low, low, you're on fuel reserve. But what does that mean? Does it mean that, what does it mean? I mean, now it's not guaranteeing me the 21 miles anymore? I mean, does it mean there's a sloshing around back there? It changes. What does it mean? I didn't run out of gas, but I was worried. I was a little bit worried. I mean, I'm like, okay, I'm fine. I got 21 miles, 30, 25, 20. I had errands to run in a small little area. But then again, if I ran out of gas on the highway, you ever see those poor bastards on the side of the highway? Oh my gosh, that could have been. Anyway, I can't have that. But I would like to know, does it go away at some point? And I love my car so much. I got a Mercedes, actually, SUV. It's very great. It's very, very great, very comfortable. My favorite thing about it are the seat warmers. and the drive, the nice, easy drive. Folks, there was a terrorism attack in New York City, and nobody seems to give a damn. There was a terrorism. I'll get to the Bill Stevenson, Joe Biden's ex-husband, in a little bit. There was a terrorism attack in New York City. 2 ISIS-inspired Islamists from Pennsylvania threw what do they call it? The Satan bomb. You can find out how to make one online. The Satan bomb. It's a very dangerous thing. And they tried to kill these guys who don't like what's happening to America in terms of the Islamization, the Islamification of so much. And I know these guys may look a little bit extreme, but I do cut them a little bit of slack. Because right now it may feel awkward. But I don't care about feeling awkward anymore. Awkwardness and not appearing, a certain way, worrying about appearances. You know who does that? The Brits. The United Kingdom. Oh, they all have to, they're so social status conscious, right? They're so uptight. That's their problem. They're uptight over there. So what happened was they were raping children. Men from Pakistan were coming to the United Kingdom and targeting young, working-class white girls and raping them. And nobody wanted to do anything about it because, it seems to be based in the Pakistani community. So what? Then go to the Pakistani community. Where is that? Do you have a map? Oh, we don't keep track of such things. You don't? Don't you think that would be a good thing to know? This is one of the things my father did. And they try to say it was racist. We have, who we have to blame? Bill de Blasio, Eric Adams, and Mamdani, right? The worst mayors in the world. All of them hated cops. That's how they became mayor, by running against cops. Anyway, my father, after 9/11, thought it would be a really good idea if we knew who lived where in our community. Can you really blame the police department for wanting to know that? And not only like who lives where, because you can get that from the phone book, but I mean like, where are the Somalis? Where are the Canadian Canucks? Where's the Muslim community? Where is the Irish community? Where is the Chechen community? Right? Because a lot of times you have certain neighborhoods. Now, you can kind of learn this stuff by going out in New York and kind of picking it up over time. But what if it's an emergency? So what if the Tsarnaev brothers blow off a big bomb at the Boston Marathon, right? As they did. Killed a lot of people. The Tsarnaev brothers. Why the hell would you do that? Why on earth would you try to go to the marathon sporting event? Totally peaceful, but they did. And they blew it up, killed all kinds of people, and then they escaped. Where are they going? Well, there was a word that they were going to New York. So the Tsarnaev brothers are on their way to New York. Where might they be going? Do they have any relatives in the Chechen community? Where is the Chechen community? Is there a Chechen community? Because they were from Chechnya. It's like a province in Russia, or a little enclave of some type. I don't know. They were always, it's a little bit complex, but that's what we have government for, to know this stuff. Where is the Chechen community? You can either go ask the food editor at New York Magazine, who will say, what? Or might be off, or might not, you can try to Google it. Or maybe you have a professionally maintained database on this kind of stuff as part of your law enforcement anti-terror function. Because it's not targeting the Chechen community. They're looking for the guys who just blew up a marathon. They're looking for them. The word is they're coming to New York. Just maybe they're going to drive by the Chechen community. Maybe they have friends. Maybe they have relatives. It's the kind of thing you want to know. And that's one of the first things that de Blasio did. Oh, we can't be asking about that. We can't be tracking people because of that. That's racist. That's surveillance state. We can't have that. But New York Magazine can. But your local real estate agent can, but the NYPD can't. You see what I mean? All right. Hey, is Sid Rosenberg in trouble? He shouldn't be. because he didn't do anything wrong. If you don't mind, cut 14, Sid Rosenberg invoked on the, well, look, I don't know all of what Sid did, all right? And if Sid had to apologize, I'm sure there was a good reason for him apologizing. But generally speaking, I love Sid, and he looks out for New York's. And listen to this if you don't mind. Cut 14, they're talking about Sid on the Today Show.
Mayor Mamdani, who was inside Gracie Mansion when the incident unfolded, said violence at a protest is never acceptable. The attempt to use an explosive device that hurt others is not only criminal, it is reprehensible. The startling sequence coming just days after a polarizing talk show host in the city calling the mayor a jihadist before later apologizing.
Muslims in this city, for almost as long as we have been in this city, have had to deal with those with power and platform dehumanizing us. I am not ashamed of my faith. I am not ashamed of being the first Muslim mayor in the history of our city.
You shouldn't be, because that's why you're the mayor, right? You kind of made that a big thing, didn't you? And you also pretended that there was anti-Muslim hatred out there, right? And that you were a victim of it. And you played on people's sympathies and prejudices and stereotypes. And you made it fashionable, quite frankly, for some people. Ooh, look at this. I'm voting for a Muslim. I don't even know or care if we ever had a Muslim before, to be honest. But since you won't shut up about it, and since instead of decrying what happened on 9/11, you seem to be all got worked up about his sister or his aunt who wasn't even in town. This is somehow related to what Sid said. The ISIS terrorists did this, man. ISIS. Hey, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Are we ready? Are we doing anything special? Are we going to the parade? I hope so. Nick Saban is one of the great coaches of all time. Alabama, right? Bama. You see that round table they had at the White House? Very interesting. President Trump's beacon is in everything, and it should be. Cut 12, please. Nick Saban speaking to President Trump at the great big college sports roundtable.
I'm just a football coach. I spent my life when we had the ball trying to get a first down, when they had the ball trying to get off the field on third down. So this is an unlikely position for me to be in to speak to such a distinguished group of people. Thank you. But I come here today with a question. What are the guiding principles for the future of college athletics? All athletics. I'm talking about football, basketball, Olympic sports, revenue, non-revenue, it doesn't matter. You know, my goal as a coach for my players, for our players, was to help them be more successful in life, that we would create an atmosphere and environment that would help them through personal development, academic support, 668 degrees in 17 years at Alabama, and help them develop a career as a football player. That was our goal, so that they were creating value in life and we were preparing them for their future past athletics. So what happened? You know, in this current system that we have, that became impossible to do because people, instead of making decisions about creating value for their future, they were making decisions about how much money could they make at whichever school they could go to or transfer to. So I think we have a challenge here today about the ramifications of this current system on how it helps players be successful in their future and how we can impact and create a system that will help and preserve the opportunity for student athletes to be able to have success in their future beyond athletics.
Goes on, like, you know, these athletes now, they can pull all kinds of rank on the coach. They can go elsewhere if they're not getting enough money. Very bad system. It's got to be fixed. I hope they figure that one out. Hey, you've heard about the girls' elementary school being bombed in Iran. I have now seen the video, and I don't think they can say that conclusively. Number one, it's possible. It's possible that the school was hit accidentally by our side. It's possible. Bad things happen in war, always. Whenever you have armed conflict on this scale, bad things will happen. It's horrible, and there will be friendly fire incidents. We've already seen friendly fire. American F-15s shot down by our allies, the Kuwaitis. Fortunately, nobody was killed. They say the new video appears to confirm U.S. airstrike actually hit the girl's school. Well, I've watched the video, and they actually have the missile, and it's landing not on the girl's school. And then it explodes, and it seems to not actually hit the girl's school. So, and then they're telling me that, oh, this is proof that it hit the girl's school. It's the opposite. And they're also not mentioning that the Iranian military had a great big facility, guess what, right next to the girls' school. And here's something else I'm a little bit skeptical about. There's a girls' school in Iran? They wouldn't let... That's not something they do all that much, right? They can do certain things, but they can't do everything. One thing they insist on happening, marrying them when they're 10 years old. Girls, when they're 10 years old. It happens in Iran. I hope the whole regime gets changed. I hope there's a new and better culture. I hope. But in a weird way, that's not our priority. Our priority, no nukes, no more missiles, and no more exportation of terror and money for terrorists all over the place. And then you do what you got to do. You do what you want to do. I mean, we can sanction you. We can, put you on a bad list. But just don't mess with the rest of the world. And hopefully the people do rise up. We will be right back after this important message, because experts say this flu season is the worst we've seen in years. And either way, you know how this goes. Every year, someone in my family gets sick, then everyone gets sick. And suddenly you're fighting to see a doctor or stuck waiting in a crowded urgent care. Not this year. I am ready. I ordered a medical emergency kit, and it's been a lifesaver. My kit is stocked with essential prescription medication, antibiotics like a generic Z-Pak to help you recover faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, ear infections, prescriptions for nausea, UTIs. They even have ivermectin in there. Now it's simple. Match your symptoms in the guidebook or call the telemedicine doctor standing by. Start treatment early, feel better faster. No waiting rooms, no pharmacy lines. I love my medical emergency kit. You should get one too, and I got you $45 off when you use my code GREG, G-R-E-G. Just go to urgentcarekit.com/Greg. That's urgentcarekit.com/Greg, and the promo code is Greg.
Greg Kelly, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Quick update, if you were wondering. God is real. God is great. God can do anything. He knows every single thing about you, and he still loves you, and he wants to help. Isn't that kind of amazing? Every crummy, rotten thing you've ever done. Every crummy, rotten thing I've ever done. Oh, boy. He knows, and he still loves me, cuts me all kinds of slack. He wants a few things in return. We got to obey him. We got to listen to him. We got to talk to him. And you'll find, as I did, those rules that he wants us to follow. It's not meant to keep us from having a good time. It's meant to make sure we do have a good time, to maximize our joy. Sometimes it seems so unfixable, but he can fix anything. Anything. He does it in mysterious ways and on his timing, not on ours. My gosh, it was laugh out loud funny, my religious experience. When I finally realized God is real and Jesus is his son and all of it makes sense. When I found out, oh boy. And you know what? God has a sense of humor. He has a sense of humor. It really is amazing. I urge you to take the trip. I urge you to make the effort. You can, somebody gave me a Bible, the Charles Stanley Life Principles Bible, gave it to me when they thought I needed it. I thought I didn't need it. I said, when the hell did you become such a church lady? You want to give me a gift? Give me a CD. Give me a shirt. I mean, you dropping hints here? What's this all about? And on the shelf it went. And it stayed there for years. Until Well, until suddenly I needed it. I thought I needed it. I needed something, and I started reading it, and like, oh boy, wow, what the hell is this all about? Oh my gosh, it's all true. It's all real. And you can tell yourself, oh, I don't need that. No, yes, you do. No, yes, you do. If I do, you do. But then again, I'm not pushing anything. I'm just telling you what happened to me. All right. With that, 800-8489-222. 800-8489-222. Dave, hello.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah?
Hey, first of all, about that school in Iran. If you remember...
Hey, man, what's up with your phone? What kind of phone you got? Undo whatever you're doing with your phone.
All right. Can you hear me now?
It sounds weird. Are you talking to us on the internet or something like that? Do you have some sort of internet phone?
It's an old phone. Bad service.
All right, keep talking. I'm used to it now.
Well, anyway, if you remember, shortly after October 7th, everyone, there was this story when they claimed that Israel struck a hospital in Gaza, and the media ran with that story, and it turned out that it was actually a Hamas rocket that exploded in a hospital parking lot, and like maybe 5 people died, and not like 500 people like Hamas claimed. So something people might want to keep in mind.
Totally. And the baby milk factory in in Iraq. That's it. You destroyed all the baby milk. No. It was a weapons depot. What's the other thing?
And the other thing was that as far as Sid calling Mamdani a jihadi, I mean, Sid didn't call him a jihadi. He called himself a jihadi. If he didn't want people to think he's a jihadi, he could have taken very simple steps like saying things like, I condemn the phrase globalized intifada, but he didn't do that. So that means he called himself a jihadi.
Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. He's a deceptive guy, this Mamdani. Very deceptive. I've seen him play that game. And that's when I just saw him. I'm like, uh-oh. He's worse than I even thought. I had no idea how bad he was. I'm so glad that happened to me. And I stood up and I took a bite. I had to. Crummy sandwich, but I supported Andrew Cuomo. If only the police commissioner had some moral integrity. Instead, all she wants to be is a very important person to impress her friends. Tom, hello.
Hey, Greg. Hello, Greg. Congratulations on your new purchase of that Mercedes.
Thank you.
So I wanted to help you out with the mileage, all right? Now, in the vehicle, there's a glove box.
Yeah.
And then you open that up, and there's a book in there. Now, it's not one of Bill O'Reilly's.
Well, what about that book? The book is great. It's big.
But if you don't read like Donald Trump, then you might as well just drive.
If you don't read like Donald Trump, you are such a fool. If you don't read like Donald Trump. If you you don't know a damn thing, buddy. You look at you. You run away. You ran away. Little Dave. Ooh. You know, the last person who got up and said he can't read, Samantha Bee. Samantha Bee, just before she was canceled because she was not funny. The man reads like nobody's business. Look at the pictures of his office. Papers everywhere. Data. He feasts on it.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?